Hi, everybody. It's back for our final segment of our evening. We call it the sound off section of the evening. And so this is our section where we get to talk about whenever. It's free form. I'm Jonathan Betzler. I'm one of the No Name Cinema Societies. I've got my boys, J Money here. What's up, J Money?
Word up. It's time for the sound off.
You're boring. Davie Joe, welcome back. Final part of the evening, home stretch. How do you feel?
I feel great, man. I could do this. Can we just start over? Can we do it all from the beginning?
Oh, see, that was a clever thing. I cut away from you though, so I missed it. Some updates. I just want to update you guys. Big playoff implications here going on. The Yankees in the top of the 10th just took a 6-3 lead on Toronto. Winner, they're playing each other for the division. Big game tonight. Yankees now just ahead 6-3, and these Angels up 3-2 over Houston, and they're battling for the final wild card spot. So big stuff going on in baseball. These are the two big series: Yankees, Blue Jays, Angels, Astros. Both of my teams, the Yankees and the Angels, are winning right now, so that's kind of a big deal. I also want to tell you guys I just got an email from a viewer.
Oh my God!
So let me refer to it. So yes, fine, I'm fucking watching, whatever. But I feel like I just found an underground river and my torch is almost spent. So no way in hell I am jumping into that. At least not yet.
This is
Carry on.
Email you're getting here.
So that is the comment. It doesn't appear that person's watching now. But I'm going to type. I just read this on air. Do you guys have thoughts on that?
I don't want to know about this guy's torch. I really don't.
Yeah, man. I mean, what's his problem?
What's that?
What's his problem? Come on, this is fun. He should be watching now. Call him.
I think you.
Give his number. Let's call him on the air.
You may be missing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think he is suggesting that the discussion is intense.
I think you should call him and ask.
I think you're being very diplomatic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. There's a certain reluctance to getting publicly involved in this. I mean, if for viewers in the future, I won't name you. I'm not naming this guy now, and I won't name you if you don't want me to, of course. But if you do want me to, because you like publicity or what have you, then that's okay as well. Davey, about ready to start?
If you're looking for a plug, you want at least 20 people to hear your name.
Well, I don't think this. I will say it's a gentleman. I don't think he's looking for a plug. He just read my response.
Clearly not. It's anyone else though.
Yeah, we'll just do anybody's plugs. If anybody wants a plug, let us know.
He just said I missed. He's not watching at the moment. So anyway, Davie Joe. While he decides if he has more to say, I'll cut to you and you can start yours. Oh, looks like he's on. So you guys have stuff you want to say to this gentleman now that he's back?
How's it good? What's going on? Has he seen anything lately? What's good? Any recommendations?
Well, I mean, let's see. If he has anything to say about shampoo specifically, I assume maybe he has something to say about Black Mass too. I hope he stays tuned for the top 5, my top 5 gangster movies. In the meantime, Davie Joe, why don't you start your list of things that you want to talk about?
All right. So aside from watching the Eagles lose 2 games,
I watched that as well.
Yeah. Well, before I get to the actual movie discussion, I'm actually, there's a silver lining here. Maybe that's that they'll fire the idiot that coaches that team. If I hear about how Chip Kelly is a genius one more time, I'm going to lose it. Because he's not a genius. He's a moron. You got the game on the line, 3rd and 1. You're going to give the ball to maybe the reigning Russian champion? No. Let's have him on the sideline. Let's give it to some guy named Matthews, and then let's lose the game. Okay. Anyway, all right. So I've seen like a lot of movies since it's been like a long time since we've done this. So I'll just
skip the indies.
I'll mention them, but we don't have to talk about them. I saw The Gift. that was that was a good one. Check that one out. So
you heard it here. You heard it here first, everybody. Man,
it's got a guy by the name of Joel Edgerton in it.
yeah, he was in the movie we reviewed tonight.
Yeah, so if you didn't see our Black Mass review, go check that out and know.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah,
I'm not the only one that can do callbacks around here, huh?
Dude, I'm all over it. Movies I'm not supposed to talk about. I saw Jimmy's Hall and the end of the tour. I also saw Maru, which is a documentary, mountain climbing. It's actually a mountain in the Himalayas in India. The movie, the one that I actually want to talk about is No Escape. It's that Owen Wilson movie that I think has gotten.
We talked about reviewing that at one point. I think J Money refused.
Let me tell you something. This movie is under the radar. This is me telling you. It's solid. It's solid. It's
so
got.
We were gonna review either that movie or We Are Your Friends, and We Are Your Friends.
We messed up. We messed up bad.
J Money.
Hey, whatever. I mean, maybe it's good. It looks pretty awful, but whatever.
It does look awful.
It's really, really awful. And the last week of August is the dumping ground. Remember?
I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance to see it, I'd be interested to see what you guys think.
How was Davie Joe? How was the movie not racist?
Sorry, what was that, J Money? Who are you calling for?
I'm calling for my mom, Davie Joe.
How is it not racist?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is. Let me think.
But a good kind of racist, right? I mean, that's the point. It was a good kind of racist.
Well, no, you know, I think if you see the movie, you won't think that it is in the sense that it's sort of you know, they're good guys and bad guys of all races, and it sort of kind of puts a light on the Western. I don't want to say imperialism so much, but just sort of our globalism and our reach, let's say.
That's fair. All I can say is that in the trailer, there's a scene where Owen Wilson throws a girl from one building to the other across the rooftop, and I'm kind of hoping she didn't make it. I'm hoping that that's actually a central focus of the film. You don't have to tell me either way, because I don't.
Well, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
You're not going to spoil it for me. Then, in my own mind, in the perfect world,
in one trailer, they show the result of that, though.
Exactly. They'll never show the result. So I, fortunately, get to assume that she didn't make it, and that makes it a better movie for me.
No, I'm saying they did show the result in one trailer.
They did? I didn't see that trailer then, I guess.
So,
don't tell me.
I mean, I think what happened is they got heat. They got heat for that and felt like they needed to show the result.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I mean, honestly, who would think that?
Why are you yelling at me?
Because you're the one taking it, JB.
All right, Davey.
Yeah. So I'm watching this movie, and I was thinking, you know, this is a horror movie, and I looked up the director, whose name.
I feel like you've said everything is a horror movie tonight.
Well, I've seen two movies, not necessarily.
Tell me again how Shampoo is a horror movie.
I did not say that. It's
I mean,
not.
Tis the season for horror, so this kind of makes sense.
But anyway, it's the guy directed As Above, So Below, which is a movie I thought last year didn't get enough credit for being a pretty fun ride, also, in unsettling, in horrifying. So yeah, No Escape is my under the radar. It's the classic. You know, critics don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Cool. That sounds like an excellent new segment for you to have.
That's the first thing I've agreed with that Davie Joe has said in the last like 30 minutes.
Critics know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
30 minutes, dude. How about months, right? I mean, when have you agreed with anything that I've said?
We both like Rabbit Hole.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Well, anyway, you guys, what'd you see? Anything?
Davey, you said you didn't have any diatribe, but then you started off with fire Chip Kelly.
Well, yes. All right, that's a diatribe. Fire him. I'd have fired him like at halftime.
One of our viewers just said, "I'm laughing hard over here."
Hey.
thought you would appreciate that. So the Yankees are out in the top of the 10th. So Toronto gets last up, so they got to get 3 runs to tie in the bottom of the 10th, just so you guys know. Mike Trout also hit his 40th home run. Still 3-2 in Houston between them and the Angels. My latest update.
All right.
J Money, you've got something to speak about?
Just in general, in life?
I don't know. This is the freeform.
The freeform is usually where Davie Joe talks a lot about things he's already seen, and you talk a lot about things you'd like to see. And I just kind of riff along with you two.
Okay, well, Davie just threw it to you and said, "What have you seen?" And I'm just following along.
Oh, okay. What have I seen? I started watching a show that was on Comedy Central over the last summer called Another Period, which I don't know if you guys have seen at all.
What's it called?
Another Period. It's a show that I think was really not marketed very well, but it's actually fairly.
In fact, I think you're making it up. I think you're actually inventing the name of the show right now. I don't think.
The premise of it basically is that it takes a supposed sort of incredibly wealthy family from the early 1900s in Rhode Island, in the whole row of mansions that are in Rhode Island, and follows them as if it was a modern day sort of a Real Housewives almost kind of show. So it's set in that setting. It's set as a real mockumentary kind of thing, as a reality show, but it's dealing with all these characters that are from a certain time period and all the kind of funny things that happen around that idea. It stars Natasha Leggero and Ricky Lindholm, who actually.
So it's a comedy.
It's a comedy. Michael Ian Black is also in it, and a variety of other comedians are in it.
Michael Ian Black. I used to see him live with David Wayne and Michael Showalter, who formed a comedy group called Stella in New York. They used to perform under Fez every Thursday night, I think it was, or Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And they went on to make Wet Hot American Summer as a group.
That's correct. Yes, and I believe they're still doing things at UCB West out there now. No.
I'm not aware of it. I sort of fell out of that group, but that used to be like a ritualistic thing, like late Thursday nights or whatever night it was, like in the early 2000s maybe. That's how long ago that was.
Either way, the show is interesting. It has parts that are weird. It has parts that are authentically funny. It's hit and miss at times. It's a good summer filler show. It's worth checking out. Again, I would say it was not at all marketed well. I barely knew the premise of it before I checked it out. I checked it out purely on somebody else's recommendation. I saw ads for it, like in the subway, for instance, this summer, but nobody ever explained anything. I never saw any TV ads for it. So I'm giving it a little bit of press right now. I would suggest anyone check it out. It's on Netflix right now.
Okay.
Speaking of television, we had an argument on Facebook that our viewers didn't get to hear, because one of the things we had a little brief Emmy preview at our last sound off, and I forgot to mention a show that I remembered and then realized how strong it was. And then on Facebook, you called me many names as a result, and you said this wasn't that good a show, and I think you are a fool because the more I watch, I haven't finished the whole first season, maybe 6 episodes at this point, but it is so clear to me that The Knick is the most cinematic show on television. It's such a major accomplishment.
I never said anything about The Knick.
What's that?
I didn't say anything about The Knick.
Yeah, you did. It's on Facebook, so you can, unless you deleted it, you can go find our conversation. Those of you that are fans of our page, and if you're not, you can be. No Name Cinema Society. What up? But we had a whole conversation on Facebook about The Knick, because I think, what did I say was the best show on television? House of Cards, maybe? And then on Facebook, I'm like, I forgot about The Knick. The Knick is the best show on television right now. And you're like, JB, you're an idiot. You've never watched television before in your life. That's
where do we see it?
What's that?
Where do we see it? I don't even know what it is.
Well, The Knick is directed by Steven Soderbergh, for one.
It's on Showtime. It's on HBO Go right now. It's a great show.
It's on HBO Go right now.
It's a great show. I don't think I would have said that about it, so I don't know why you're saying that.
It's on Facebook. It's on Facebook. It is, like, documented.
Where is it on Facebook? Where is it on Facebook, JB?
In a comment section on last time sound off.
All right, I'm gonna check right now.
All right. Yeah,
okay. Well, so you're saying you now like The Knick?
No, I'm saying I've never not liked The Knick. Did I call you out? Wait a minute. There's two different things going on, JP. Did I call you out for saying something incredibly hyperbolic, or am I just saying I don't like The Knick?
I don't know.
Wow.
I said that I think The Knick is my favorite show on television. And I think you said I was an idiot. You've never heard of it? Clive Owen, Davey?
No, I haven't. I will check that out, though.
an interesting little side bit. You guys both know our web series Intersection, like narrative web series Intersection.
I think I've heard of it before. Yeah.
Yeah, but you haven't watched it because you're assholes.
I'd like to see that though. Where can I see it?
You can Google it.
Intersection.
Let me Google that for you. You guys hear about that link? Let me Google that for you, where it just
Yes.
you know what I'm talking about? Somebody asks you something like a stupid question, and you send them a "Let me Google that for you" link, and they click on it, and it has like an image of a cursor going to Google and typing in the thing you asked them and whatever.
Yes.
Basically, call them out for being an idiot.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, the Nick. The more I watch it, the more I'm convinced. I mean, from every aspect, production design, without ever being shown you the production design, everything feels real. Costume design, performances, everything's like together. I mean, like, it's amazing. It's actually like amazing it doesn't get more pub because it's so well orchestrated, and maybe because it's so gory because it's about doctors. The Nick is the Knickerbocker Hospital in downtown New York, but it's turn of the century Manhattan, so horse and carriage, like, and things like that. Some people may have automobiles and whatever. It is, it's fascinating. It's near perfect. So I know Jay Money doesn't like hyperbole, but
Well, no, see, and yeah, again, I don't know if I would say it was near perfect. I like the show. Maybe you're confusing the fact that I called you out for saying things like it's near perfect with me not liking the show.
well, I mean, it was unclear to me that that's what you're calling me out for.
Well, you know, I call you out a lot, so I understand.
You got to be specific about what thing you're calling me out for at that
Look,
time.
He saw that you had an opinion on something. He just assumed it was wrong.
That's sort of how the show goes sometimes. I think.
Pretty much. That's my MO.
Jay Money, do you got more, or are you ready for the top 5?
Well, let's go into the top 5. I'm very curious.
Yeah, let's do it. Top 5.
All right, we had a lot of talk about what the top 5 is going to be this week because we had Black Mass, and there was talk about should we do a Johnny Depp top 5 or should I do a Johnny Depp top 5. There was talk about doing a millennial play adaptation top 5 of the top 5 movies based on plays since 2000, and we also talked about doing a top 5 about representations, films that represent the 70s male psyche. And I was prepared for that one. But the easy one, and potentially the more interesting one, I asked some friends, and one girl texted me like this was the gangster one was the most commercially viable option. So that we're going with that.
Absolutely true.
Gangster movies. You guys excited?
I'm excited.
Pumped.
So I mean, just to be clear, there are a couple movies that sometimes are considered gangster movies that I am not considering gangster movies at this time. And I had a list here. On the Waterfront definitely has gangsters, but I feel like it's more of a social issues drama on the Waterfront, and it was on several lists of best gangster movies, and it doesn't feel right in the gut here. Like when we're talking about movies that connect with Black Mass, On the Waterfront feels like a different animal. So I'm not including On the Waterfront. Everybody's on board with that?
Yeah, that sounds like somebody was trying to think outside the box when they put their list together.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. The other one that maybe is more controversial that I was thinking about, but I mean, like, I left it off the list because I really just felt like it wasn't like, it was more of a heist movie than really a gangster movie. And you can argue these people are gangsters, but like when I think about the gangster genre, I think about like the mafioso, the crime family situation, which again is more connected to Black Mass. And that's Reservoir Dogs. I opted not to go with Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction as options here. I thought about it for a good amount of time, but I mean I just want to make that point before I start counting down. He's like, "Where's Reservoir Dogs?"
I agree with you.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
I mean, I thought about it. It's like it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right in the gut.
Nope. I hear you. Simpatico.
Okay, that's twice today in this one segment. Jay Money, what do you think about this agreement situation?
I think it's good that you guys are finally finding peace together.
Yeah, you like that? I love when we do discussions of movies where you have to like translate for them. That's the best part. So What's fascinating about this list is all the movies on the list are, unlike what I usually do, they're fairly modern. And there's a whole slew of gangster movies from the 30s and early 40s that maybe I should have considered, but I did consider, but I just couldn't honestly say that they were better than these films that I'm going to count down now. And I thought, I really thought if there was an also ran or an honorable mention, it would go to White Heat with Jimmy Cagney, a film that I admire a lot. The original Scarface from 1932 is a film I admire a lot. Davie Joe, don't walk away. I was about to cut to you as a reaction shot. Hold on, wait for it. Wait, no, get your face back in there for reaction. Give me a reaction. Give me a reaction. Don't pull your pants back on. Yeah. Reaction. Oh, good reaction. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, so number 5 on my top. Interesting thing about this list is there are 2 actors that appear on this list 3 times. Just something to think about, which may seem obvious once we once we do the list. But they're all the things on the list are fairly obvious except for maybe number 5.
Okay.
And that is the picture's coming up, I think. Picture. Do you see a picture? I don't.
No, I don't see a picture.
You did the pictures, didn't you?
I did. I did send them to you.
There they are.
Hey.
So yeah, I'm going with Donnie Brasco, number 5. And strangely enough, my dad also knew Donnie Brasco, which is a theme that's going to come up. No, it's true. It's true. He was a golf buddy. You know what I mean? They all went. I can't tell how many mob people I met, but Donnie Brasco, of course, was a cop. But even still, so yeah, and I think this movie doesn't get the credit that it deserves historically, right, Davie Joe? Oh yeah, that's like my favorite movie.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, the other movies in this list are legendary. This movie, is so detailed and competent. It's the movie that Black Mass wanted to be, I think, to some degree.
Well, Johnny, that does have the same look in it, I just want to point out.
Well, not only that, but it has the relationship. You know what I mean? It's about the relationship between these 2 guys, and that's what makes it unique, special, interesting, important. And a great performance even by Anne Hesh in a supporting role. So I think this movie needs to be discussed more and talked about more. Mike Newell's the director, and it's really extremely well done, very nuanced. So that's my number 5. Davie, now you're back. You can talk.
It's a great movie.
Okay.
No arguments there. What do you want?
Hey, Money, what do you think?
It sucks.
Really?
No, come on.
No, I
It
don't
does
have
not
it.
suck.
Sorry.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it. When did it come out? 2000?
Really?
1997.
Oh, 97? Well, that's why. Yeah, it was just between 96 and 2000, I pretty much saw nothing, so.
That's true.
And
I can
Fran,
vouch for that.
Your Netflix and DVD player have been broken since then. Your Blu-ray and all that. They've been
I think
well,
that's,
you now have a homework assignment, right?
Yes.
Right, Davie Joe?
yes, that's exactly right.
That sounds fair to me. I'll squeeze it in.
And then we can, the next sound off, we can talk about how it relates to Black Mass. Next up, number 4. I'm separating the Godfather films in this case. And I'm going to put Godfather 2 down here at number 4. And that might seem shocking to you, and obviously it's a masterpiece. It's a great film. The performances are amazing. One thing that has been always sort of stuck in my craw about it is, the parallel editing. I'm more interested in this whole Hyman Roth, Michael Corleone, Cuban deal thing that goes on. That is a more fascinating aspect to me than the rise of Vito Corleone. Corleone, as it were. It's a small. That's just a personal opinion. But I think this one's hard to argue. I think the only thing you're going to argue is why is it not higher, but we'll get to that, obviously.
I think it's a good choice. I think it's a solid choice. I don't have a problem with this position number 4 because I'll see what happens with the rest of the stuff.
I would have bet that this was number 1, but that's cool. It makes it interesting.
Certainly number 1 for a lot of other people. So.
And again, you know that I'm separating them, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, do you guys both feel The Godfather 2 is better than Godfather 1?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
So
I think it's better. But I'm not gonna argue either way. You know, with someone if they want to say the first one's better. But I think the second one always seems to be just more of a complete story, I guess, or just more involved, more interesting.
It lacks the need to. It doesn't need to have as much exposition. I grant you that.
Yeah.
Although it does take the time to have a whole new exposition and introduce all of young Vito's world and all that jazz, and it's significantly longer too.
Oh yeah.
But J Money, you with me that the first Godfather is better?
No, I honestly don't really have a strong opinion about which one is better than the other. I know a lot of people kind of are contentious about the issue. I like them both quite a bit, so I'm fine with it being number 4. I think it should be on the list one way or the other. Like, I think it's good that it showed up on this list. If it didn't show up on this list, I'd be a little surprised.
Sorry. Yeah, good. That just so you know, like Davey's mute button ruined pretty much everything you said just now, but that's okay. I'm glad we have all these viewers still. Long night for the viewers as well. So I'm keeping with the top 5, going to number 3, which is, keep things in suspense for 2 and 1. Godfather number 1 is number 3 for me, and obviously this is just a personal list. This is considered one of the greatest films of all time, so for most people it would be number 1. It's a great film, beautifully done, very cinematic. Cinematography and music is amazing. A lot of wonderful things about it. The top 2 films just affected me a little bit more, and when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. Like Godfather is a film that's on my top 100 personal films. So I mean, like I am a huge fan of The Godfather. So I don't want to by it being number 3 on this list, I don't want to suggest anything against it. I don't really have much to say against it. There's a couple films that inspired me in different ways.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad it makes this interesting. Is you didn't go with the two main picks. So yeah. I'm at the edge of my seat now.
So this next one you might debate might not be a gangster movie because it tells a story from the point. It's like Donnie Brasco, I guess. Tells a story from the cop point of view. But I mean, like it deals with the most notorious gangster of all time. And I think I enjoy the film more. And so I've got The Untouchables at number 2. And The Untouchables, people like The Untouchables. I happen to love The Untouchables, and I think it's sort of I think it has it come up in our discussions before? I'm not sure.
Yes.
It has?
I think so.
Vaguely, right? We have this vague recollection of it somehow. I don't remember what or how, but yeah, I mean, this is a film that I think is Brian De Palma's best film by far. It's very advanced and all at the same time fun and sharp. I mean, like The Godfather, for all its amazingness, like it doesn't have that sense. It doesn't have that little sense of fun. I mean, like David Mamet's script is crackling in The Untouchables. And I mean, like, it's a film that lifts my spirits. It's like in my top 25 of all time, for what it's worth. And it's a film I'll watch every now and again to sort of see what he does. Like the step sequence, which is based on the Odessa step sequence, is outstanding. Performances all around. Even Kevin Costner is good. Sean Connery won an Oscar for his work in the role. Robert De Niro is Al Capone, which I had a picture for it, but J Money was lazy. So I don't have him, but I like it's exciting, it's smart and fun. In my heart, my gut and guts, and like I know that like very snobby critics will wonder what that's about, but I mean I think I enjoy it more is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I have a soft spot for it myself. I think it's the kind of movie where I liked it a lot when I was younger. Like in my teen years, there were certain scenes that I would hit rewind and watch over and over again, for instance, because I love the way that they kind of orchestrated themselves. I've seen it again in the last 5 years, and I was a little bit less, taken with it, but I can't discredit it. I mean, obviously, it was a big thing for me when I was younger, so it's still, it's still definitely going to show up on a list for me somewhere. I don't know if it would be number 2 for me, but I think it would show up in the A list, definitely.
So it sounds like so far I've got the right films, just like not necessarily the right order so far.
Well, as people will argue to the end of time, whatever shows up where is the big issue.
Yeah. Davie Joe, where's your untouchable stance here?
I mean, I definitely wouldn't. I don't know that it makes my top 5, but it's a great movie. I do like it a lot, and the De Niro baseball bat at the table scene, I remember being pretty shocked by that. And it was.
I wish I had a picture of it.
I wish you didn't give me 17 PNGs to make at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh.
I wish you guys had determined a top 5 for me to do before 1:30.
I wish you could make your own decisions.
Come on, one more. Your turn.
I wish that this was a team effort, and I felt like you guys would want some input on it.
I wish I was a unicorn.
You wish what?
It's gonna be hard to top that one.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
I didn't hear what he said.
I said I wish I was a unicorn.
Well, move those candles a little more behind your head, and maybe you'll get something going. Davie Joe, you were in the middle of saying.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie. I don't know that it's a top 5 gangster movie for me, but I like the movie a lot.
Well, after number 1, you're going to tell me what replaces it, because here's my number 1, which is my number 13 favorite movie of all time. And it's one of those movies that I think just might be perfect from an execution point of view. So for me, the ultimate gangster film, the highlight of a career for this iconic filmmaker is Goodfellas, and he won the Oscar for The Departed, which basically is is Black Mass, and is a better movie than Black Mass, but nothing is better from a mafia point of view than Goodfellas. And yes, my dad knew Henry Hill as well. So all these movies had a strange connection to me, but yeah, this I had several photos for this. I wish I could show you more because we could talk about the shot in the diner, the vertigo shot in the diner, if you remember what I'm talking about, or a shot from the famous Steadicam sequence when Ray Liotta's entering the nightclub. It's a film like Citizen Kane in the sense that it uses almost every element of film form in a way that advances the narrative, and it is so detailed. It is simultaneously beautiful and horrifying. It's such an important film. It's what I ranked as the best film of the '90s when I put out my list, and I stand by that.
Wow.
So I think that it is. It was no question to me that it was the best gangster film of all time. I do think it's a better film than The Godfathers, and I mean, because I think Scorsese is a better filmmaker than Coppola, and it's the highlight of his career. I mean, for as many great films as he made, Goodfellas is the culmination of everything.
Yeah, it's a perfect movie.
I don't understand, JB, I don't understand why you're not in waste management. I really don't. I mean, now that we've heard all this background for you, it feels like, you should be running a studio somewhere, or you should be running a dump truck somewhere, because clearly you had.
But I mean, you understand that my dad was on the law side of things, right?
Based on all the movies I've seen about this situation, he was probably on both sides a little bit, right? I mean, come on, that's what every movie's pretty much about.
We did have informants at the house all the time, and it was very strange. I remember he got in trouble once because he had to give them gifts, and I guess he spent too much money on one time. That was a big fight. Like he bought an informant like a really expensive, gift, like as if he was a client, And there was this one really hot blonde that was she seemed to like stand out. Like why is this hot blonde like doing here? She didn't wear much, like skimpy clothes, and seemed to like. And all my dad's like work friends, it seemed like not belong. And I was like, I was just so curious who she was, 12-year-old horny boy, and yeah, she turned out to be an informant as well. So.
This is great movie material, just in general. Like, if you made a movie about your childhood and it ended up having like every single major gangster from the East Coast over the last 20 years.
Yeah, they came to my first communion. Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. That would be a fantastic. I would watch that movie. You are the story arc, and then everybody else around you is like crazy insane.
But you haven't talked about Goodfellas.
It's a great movie. I don't think I could say I would not claim it as all the things that you claimed it as, but I'm not gonna. It's yours. It's fine. I can see why it's at the top of the list. It's a great movie.
Does it belong? What belongs at the top of this list, and or what's missing from this list?
I mean, there's a lot of other gangster movies in general.
No, I understand, but I mean specifically, what were you expecting that you didn't see, or Davie Joe? I'm sure you have something. You're a gangster expert.
Well, I always include Casino. I really like Casino.
What?
I know.
You can tell me Casino's better than Donnie Brasco? Casino.
No, it's not better. It's not better than Donnie Brasco.
There's no way Casino comes anywhere near like my top 20.
Wow.
Casino, J Money, back me up. Casino. It was a mistake. It was a derivative rip-off himself.
What?
I guess I felt like it was the end result of where he was going. I mean, I guess I understand what you're saying, and that it was derivative because it was so much of what we'd already seen. It also just seemed like he'd been ramping up to make that kind of movie. So, I'm okay with it. It's not my favorite movie, but I don't hate it.
I would go so far as to say Casino's a bad movie.
Yeah, it seems like you're going in that direction.
Yeah, you're wrong, but that's cool. That's cool.
But you're gonna tell me Casino's better than Donnie Brasco, right here and right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you that, and I'll also tell you it's definitely better than Untouchables.
I mean, I can see Untouchables doesn't have this sort of like scholarly approach. It's not gonna like the Sight and Sound's never gonna rank it. But I mean, like, I disagree with that because I think it's a very successful and accomplished movie. And certainly, like Jim was saying, the childhood has something to do with that. But Casino is just like. Casino is excessive and a mistake. So I'm almost offended by that comment. Is Casino the best you got?
Well, all right. What else? I mean, I would kick out Untouchables, add Casino, and then I would rearrange it. But I haven't thought about it. Godfather 2.
Godfather 2, number 1. And J Money?
I think if I was doing a top 10, Road to Perdition would have shown up. I don't know if it would have shown up in the top 5.
I didn't really consider Road to Perdition, but yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Top 10. I admire the movie. Although, I mean, like, I think films that I definitely would have, like, the next ones that were coming were the 30s ones. Like, I think White Heat and Scarface from 1932 would definitely be on there.
How do you feel does Heat fall into the Reservoir Dogs category for you, or is that...
Yeah, Heat's a good question.
Yeah, it's borderline. It doesn't feel like a gangster movie to me, no.
Okay, that's fair.
It's more like Roberts. Yeah, I don't think I'd consider Heat that much.
What did you think about
then again, there's there's 2 actors that made 3 films on this list.
I know.
Pacino and De Niro appear on this list 3 times.
They were the go-to guys for this.
I guess so. And I'm surprised that I didn't have an older movie on this list, but I said I couldn't in good conscience kick off any of those 5 films. Like the oldest of those films is The Godfather from 1972, and we have one as recent on that list as 1997. So for me, I guess 1997 is still 18 years ago, but for me that's recent. Most of those films were in my lifetime, so that's astonishing for my list to not have an older film like that.
Well, but I think also the notion of what a gangster movie has means it has changed since the 60s even, post kind of congressional hearings on the Italian Americans. Suddenly,
yeah. Another movie that would have made a top 10 for me is Once Upon a Time in America. Another De Niro again, but that probably would have made a top 10.
I think that the reason that mafia movies specifically last so long is because they end up being about relationships within families, whereas Angels with Dirty Faces is really ultimately about racketeering. I don't feel like it has the same sort of kind of hold up.
Yeah, and I mean they were more Scarface is more sensationalized.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 1932 about it's supposed to be Al Capone fill-in, and it's more. It's more like ripped from the headlines type stuff at the time, and it has a lot of good qualities. And Howard Hawks directed it, and it's a really good film. Ben Hecht wrote the screenplay, but yeah, it doesn't have that level of detail in terms of relationships and things.
Right. I think the movies that we talk about in terms of the mafia nowadays come with more meat just by default. So maybe that's why these have kind of risen to the top for you.
Yeah, so my top 5 is done. Guys, do you have anything else? This sound-off's been a little bit longer, 42 minutes so far.
Oh, my God. That's ridiculous.
It's a good time.
But, I mean, we've had viewers the whole time. The viewers are sticking in.
You guys are the best.
We got great viewers. And, we're giving them a hell of a show, so...
Well, why don't we let them decide that?
Yeah, fine.
Anyway, so all right, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Yeah, guys, are we start to do some housekeeping?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
All right, so let's start talking about next time. Next time is going to be on October 21st. Hopefully at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. I did Pacific first this time just to mix things up. So 8:30, 5:30, and then that is I didn't look at it. Tuesday, October 21st?
Tuesday, yeah.
Okay, Tuesday, October 21st.
Wait, Wednesday.
Wednesday, October 21st, nearly a month from today, just shy of a month. So the amount of things that Davey's going to see in next time Sound Off, plan for an hour for the Sound Off. So as you can see right here, we're going to be doing Bridge of Spies, Steven Spielberg's next film. Is next up for review. So that'll be our current feature. Look for clues what our classic and indie are going to be. I can tell you the indie is another film from 2010, which I'll think of a trivia question later. I thought I could come up with something off the dome, but I cannot. And the classic is a film that I told you before. It's from a 70s film that has 3 brackets it goes up against. So that'll be fascinating. Breakdown for the Classic Movie Showdown next time. So anyway, continue to email questions, concerns, thoughts, feedback. We respond to it all, and maybe we'll even talk about your comments on air. We can even use your name if you so desire. I don't care either way. In the meantime, last little check about the sports here, because I don't want to leave our viewers hanging. At the bottom of the 8th, going into the top of the 9th, the Angels are now leading 4-3. So Astros have one more crack, and the Yankees did give up a run in the bottom of the 10th, but held on to win 6-4. They are now 2.5 games back in the East Division, and so that's very exciting. If the Angels win, they'll be 2.5 back of the wild card. Angels represent. Anything else you want to say about Chip Kelly before we go? Davey?
Yeah, he better get his act together.
Shaking in his boots. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for a long and pleasant evening of cinema discussion. We will see you next time, October 21st, and hope to be in touch in the meantime. Take care.